Woohoo, we're live. So this is the last section of new formulas that we're going to talk about in this chapter. And this is possibly one of the sets of formulas that is the hardest for people to remember. This is a sum and difference of cubes. And the thing is that this is one of the few times we do deal with cubes. Until you get in 2 semesters, you will get to a level of math where we will teach you, rather than individual formulas, we'll teach you overall techniques for factoring anything. So you won't just be memorizing little formulas, you'll be memorizing whole techniques. But until then, this is the only way to kind of break into a cube, because it's our only cubic formula. Up until you get into your 3rd semester of algebra. So it's very useful. And when it comes up, there's no other way to do it. However, it also doesn't come up that often. And so in terms of memorizing it, I know a lot of students just take their chances and hope that it's not going to come up on a test, and make sure they have the formula written down somewhere. So when it comes up in homework, you've got it. You can always look it up online. So here's the formulas. And again, I'm not saying don't memorize it, especially those of you going on to calculus. As always, remember everything. It's very simple. Calculus is Latin for you have to know all the math that you've ever been taught right now. That's literally what calculus means. So we've got a sum of 2 cubes, a cubed plus b cubed, and a difference of 2 cubes, a cubed minus b cubed. And I wrote them out, I typed them out right next to each other so we can compare and contrast, because I think that's the easiest way to remember this. If we're adding the cubes, the first factor is small. It's an a plus b. Notice it matches. And if we have a cubed minus b cubed, then we have a minus b in this first factor. So a plus b, a minus b. So a short factor. Then we've got a long factor that looks a lot like the perfect square formula, except what's the difference? The difference is there's no 2. Ooh, look at that. That's very exciting, isn't it? So, and it turns out that even though this looks like you should be able to factor it, this thing that we get out of a sum or difference of cubes cannot be factored. So once you get to this stage where you write the short one and the long one, you're done. Woohoo! So let's give it a try. So x cubed plus 125. I can write that as x, the quantity cubed, plus 125, which you can either guess or you can have memorized that that's 5 cubed. You can just try a bunch of different numbers. So I do have a sum of 2 cubes. So that's a cubed plus b cubed. And that formula is a plus b. Remember, whatever the sign is, you go directly with that. And then notice in the long one up here, if I had a plus to begin with, I'm going to put a minus in that second position. If I already took care of the minus in the beginning, I'm going to use a plus. And then the last sign is always a plus. So I think it's easiest to memorize these together. But so for a cubed plus b cubed, that's this one we're looking at, a squared minus ab plus b squared. And so I'm just going to write it out. Okay, I've got x cubed plus 5 cubed, so that's x plus 5. X squared minus x times 5 plus 5 squared. And then I can clean this up. X plus 5 times x squared minus 5x plus 25. And we're done. So if you know the formula, it goes very quickly. If you don't know the formula, I would say if your teacher accepts partial credit or offers partial credit, as I do, just fake it. Do your best. Try to remember as best you can. Try to write something down. Always write something down. Fun fact, if your teacher tells you to only write things down that are true, run. Get a new teacher. Most of mathematics is about making mistakes and then figuring out what happened and then coming up with something new. So, yeah. Woohoo. Next up, I've got 125 x cubed minus 8. So let's see if these are cubes. The 8, I think, is easier. 8 is 2 cubed. We've got a minus in the middle. And then 125x cubed, the 125, I'm looking at 5. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. And x. And if I cube that, I'll get that. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. and x. And if I cube that, I'll get that. So I have a difference of two squares, right? So I'm going to have a cubed, a cubed minus b cubed, which if I look way up here, a cubed minus b cubed is this one, a minus b quantity times the quantity a squared plus ab plus b squared. So that's a minus b, and then a bunch of pluses, a squared plus ab plus b squared. Okay, so I've got 5x is my a, is my first one, minus 2. So basically, what did I do? I took this difference of cubes, and I just wrote it again without the cubes in. And I did the same thing above. So now it's x cubed plus 5 cubed, and I wrote x plus 5. So you just, the first factor is just whatever you wrote in the cubes without the cubes. Okay, so we've got 5x minus 2, and then this part is a little more complicated because I'm going to be squaring not just a single factor, but I'm squaring 5x. So I'm going to write 5x squared plus 5x times 2 plus 2 squared. And you'll notice if you've been watching me for a while that anytime I'm going to have to nest my parentheses, I always use brackets on the outside. I find it easier on the eyes. You don't have to use brackets here. You could use parentheses too. So I have no idea what that was. That was, I think that was a glitch in the matrix, guys. Look over there. I think maybe I'm just addicted to this stuff. I love this so much. Look at that, so pretty. I know I don't do it very well. I could do it better than that. Okay, now I'm less amused by it. Okay, 5x minus 2, there we go, times 5x, the quantity squared is 25x squared. Be careful to square everything. Plus 5x times 2 is 10x plus 4. Again, even though this is winking at you going, ooh, factor me. When you have finished a difference or a sum of cubes, this long, the trinomial factor, cannot be factored unless there are common factors. We can double check. 25 has a bunch of 5s. 10 has 5 and 2. 4 has a bunch of 2s. There's nothing in common. So we're good. We're done. I'm done. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to say that because Facebook thinks I'm swearing. This is the death problem. So why is it so deathy? Well, part of what's going on is that there are common factors in both terms, and I've got 2's in both terms. So my very first step will be to pull out a 2 and a y and see what I've got. So 128 divided by 2 turns out to be 64. And I grabbed one of the y's, so I've got 6 y's left. In the second, I pull out the 125. I yank out the y, so it's out first. It's 4. And then I want y to the 6th. I've got 3 out here, so I need 2 in there. That'll make the 6. Same thing over here. What cubed gives me 125? A cube happening already, so I need x squared. So O minus b. So